What's up everybody and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to take a look at this brand new 2022 Dodge Charger GT. Big shout out and thank you to Feeney, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge and Ram for providing this new Charger for today's video. Check out the link to their website down below. And the model that we're looking at today is the GT All-Wheel Drive Plus, finished off in Frostbite and has an MSRP at $44,000. Underneath the hood of the Dodge Charger GT, you're going to find a naturally aspirated 3.6 liter 6-cylinder engine. This V6 makes 300 horsepower with 264 pound-feet of torque, and it's paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission. It sends the power to all four wheels through Dodge's all-wheel drive system, and with a curb weight around 4,200 pounds and running on an 18.5 gallon fuel tank, you can expect 18 miles per gallon in the city with 27 out on the highway. And this car can even tow up to 1,000 pounds. The overall length is 198.4 inches with a wheelbase at 120 inches. Height is 58.5 and width is 75 inches. And then now moving on to the exterior styling with the 2022 Dodge Charger. This exterior color is really clean and looks fantastic out in the sunlight. The front end has a very bold and aggressive design as you can see, and I really like the LED headlights. You can see they light up. We'll have a white DRL running around the entire edge, and then the projector beam in the center with a blacked out look. Very clean design. You can see the plastic black trim running underneath the headlights and into the grille, and then a really cool mesh design with a Dodge logo on the far side. There's a huge lower grille to allow even more cooling to the engine, and you can see a lot of bold lines all throughout the front bumper. We have LED fog lights on the far side and really nice sharp lines. This even has a set of removable bumper guards that come from the manufacturer that you're actually supposed to take off once you take delivery. And you can also see we have a very cool looking hood with a functional hood scoop to allow cool air to enter the engine bay. And I like how the center portion is raised up to give it that muscular muscle car appearance. This Charger has a set of 20-inch wheels finished off in a machined silver, and they're a split 5-spoke design. Taking a look at the side profile, you can see a very sharp line in the center portion of these doors that spans from the lower side all the way up above the door handles. Really cool side profile. You can tell this is a pretty large sedan, has a large hood and then a large trunk in back. And I love how the sharp line cuts all the way over these rear fenders to give it that really wide rear end appearance. You can also see body colored door handles and then body color for the mirror caps and then all black trim for the side windows. And then moving to the rear end, this has a body colored spoiler mounted on the trunk, has a very clean look, and I think it really finishes off the rear. I love the LED taillights you're gonna see. They light up with a nice bar running from one side all the way to the other. They have a blacked out design. You can also see a trunk release button. Dodge is written out. You get your GT badge on the right, the backup camera, and then the Charger and 4-wheel drive logo on the left. We get parking sensors all throughout it, more sharp lines, then an integrated diffuser finished in black with dual exhaust. So there's a good look at the exterior with the Charger GT. This is a really nice color. I like it a lot, especially with the silver wheels. So we have Dodge's key fob, pretty basic looking. We do get remote start by lock it and then double tap on the button. You can make the V6 roar to life. Has a nice sound to it for sure for being a smaller engine. Just tapping it once, we can shut that off. And then keeping the key fob in my pocket, I can just lift the handle and then lift it again, and we can check out the interior. This GT Plus gets a black interior with Napa leather and alcantara along these performance seats. If we take a look at the door panel now finished off in black, you can see the contrast stitching as well as the smooth leather towards the center, a good amount of padding for your armrest as well as a grab handle, all of your window and mirror controls with lock and unlock, memory seating and the release handle, and then a little bit of storage space down below. Taking a look inside, we have all the power controls on the side of the seat, and then the really nice smooth Napa leather. I like the white stitching. You get perforated alcantara in the center with smooth alcantara on the sides. Massive bolsters on these seats. They have a really good premium look, and I like these smooth headrests. We also get black leather on the steering wheel with perforated leather and then some dark trim. And then now inside the Charger, keeping my foot on the brake, we can go ahead and fire it up. Taking a look at the gauge cluster now, we have a tachometer over on the left side with your speedometer on the right, and then a digital LCD screen right in the center that you can control using the control panel on the left side of the steering wheel. We have a digital readout for your speed. You can scroll down into vehicle information, scroll left and right, and see all sorts of different things that come up to monitor how this vehicle is performing. You can continue down and see performance like 0 to 60 timers. You can see 1/8 and 1/4 mile braking distance, and then a few other things. We have fuel economy that will come up, as well as your trip, audio, messages, and then some screen setup. And then taking a look at the steering wheel, we get Dodge written out. All the cruise control settings are on the right side with some Bluetooth controls on the left, and then a set of steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. There's also buttons on the back side of the steering wheel for your radio. And then on the left side, we have all the windshield wiper controls with your turn signal stock. On the left side of the steering wheel, we have a trunk release, interior lighting and headlights, then even a button to automatically adjust your steering wheel. You get some stitching along the dash with a cool aluminum color design running around the entire center. And I like the cool contours you get. Taking a look in the center now, we have 2 more air vents and the touchscreen display. This screen has all sorts of information for media. You can have the climate controls pop up and easily adjust everything for your different zones, fan speed, temperature, more controls for heated and ventilated seating with the heated steering wheel. Then we have your apps icon right here with all sorts of different information that will come up. We can see the performance control right now with things that you can set up. You can configure your sport mode for steering. You have a comfort, normal, and sport mode, traction control, the paddle shifters, engine and transmission. We also have defaults you can set. Then launch control can even come up where you can adjust how you'd like it to work. We have your phone integration as well as settings. Then if I take the car and put it into reverse, you can see the backup camera that's going to pop up. Pretty decent graphics. You get some guidelines on it, and then parking sensors come up right in the center. If we go ahead and put it back into park, we have physical controls down below for all the radio. You also have a sport mode button. The Super Track Pack icon comes up to that same control panel. Then you have parking sensors and traction control, and then physical climate controls down below. And when you adjust anything here, it actually adjusts on the screen as well, just to make it super easy and convenient. We have a 12 volt down below with a little bit of storage, and then your shifter behind that with a leather boot, and then a little bit of storage on the right. We get some storage in the center with 2 cup holders and a slot for a cell phone. You can cover that up, more of the black leather, then a pretty good sized glove box with a little bit of storage. And then the glove box itself has a pretty good large bucket in there with a shelf above. And then one last look at the interior. This is probably one of the final years for this design for the Dodge Charger. It is starting to show its age, but at least this Plus model has a really nice interior. I like all the leather and alcantara, so it does feel like a pretty premium sedan to drive. We also get dome lights up top with all of your lighting, as well as a sunglass holder in the front. And then now moving on to the rear seat space, if I open up the door panel's finished off just like we saw up front, and then we get the same alcantara and Napa leather back here. This is a 3-seater bench row, and you can even grab the middle seat and fold this down. You can see we have an armrest, some storage, as well as 2 cup holders, which is a great touch to have. Then we have 2 air vents with your heated seats, as well as plugs down below, and then storage behind these seats. Alright, so sitting now in the back of the Dodge Charger, this is a really large sedan, and there is so much room back here. I'm 5'11", I have plenty of headroom, and with the driver's seat, even set at my height, I have plenty of knee room and foot room, so pretty comfortable being back here. While the seats don't recline, they're at a really good angle. I can honestly be back here for a couple hours. Good armrest, pretty good sized window. This is a little bit bulky, but nonetheless pretty roomy. And then we do get the grab handles and dome lights up here. And with the sunroof opened up front, it even lets even more light in. Moving to the trunk space, you can double tap the button on the key fob, use the one on the trunk, or of course that one on the interior. And we have a pretty good amount of storage space in here. Obviously being a very large sedan, you get a ton of space. You can fit several golf bags. We get a light as well as a hook. And then after manually grabbing the strap on the rear seats, we can fold them down and see just how much more storage space we have. They don't quite fold down flat, however you do get a lot of space in here and a pretty large opening into the trunk to make the Dodge Charger a very practical sedan. Alright guys, so we are setting off now in the Charger GT. I'm not really too used to being in a V6 version of this car. I've driven quite a few of the Hellcats, Scat Packs, RTs, things like that. So this one is a pretty nice trim level. I just did more of a base one that had like the cloth interior and everything. This one's pretty nice feeling with the real leather, you know, the alcantara and everything. It actually feels kind of like a semi-luxurious version of the car for a pretty affordable price tag. So this one obviously isn't going to be your performance car. This is not 800 horsepower Demon or anything like that, or Hellcat or whatever. But nonetheless, it's a pretty comfortable, practical, roomy, kind of just a normal sedan. And when you look at it, the Dodge Charger is so big. Compared to other vehicles, this thing is big. This is kind of like a 7 Series BMW. It's that type of size. And as far as like normal ride quality, let's talk about that while we're on this very bumpy road. It's a pretty solid car. Being so heavy and so big, it's kind of tough feeling. You can just feel how every bump you hit, it just plows right through them. There's not a tinny feel or anything cheap about the ride quality. It feels like a pretty solid car. We have your normal cruise control, things like that. Pretty good view out the windshield, and I like how you can see that hood. It looks super cool. And just a good view all around, not really any blind spots. There's a lot of glass. There is a lot of size to the car. You can tell the front end's pretty far away, and the back end is kind of far away as well. But just normal driving, this is the car that if you want a more affordable, larger size sedan, this is what you want to get, just because you have so much room in it, the storage space and everything, and it can drive very comfortably. You have enough technology. I'm sure there's more options available if you want to get a little bit more out of it, but this is a really nicely spec'd car to give you a lot of the tech and a lot of the comfort aspect that you're going to want. So we'll tap the Sport Mode button. The Super Track Pack, you can set up some things. Everything's already into the Sport Mode. And then bumping this over, we have the little paddle shifters. So first gear, it gets off the line pretty well. Once you get to like 30 miles an hour into second gear, not that fast, and then third gear, pretty much no power from there. So it's not a fast car at all. It's not a sports car. It's not really a sporty car even. It's just a comfortable, normal car. I'd say if you're just going to be daily driving it, racking up the miles, using it for the space it offers, that's kind of what you're going to get with a V6 Dodge Charger. But being that you have all-wheel drive, this is a great all-weather car. You could probably drive this year-round on all-season tires, regardless of where you live in the country, honestly. I think it'll do a pretty good job just getting where you need it to go. And the all-wheel drive is going to do a good job just carrying you around those turns, all the low-speed traction issues, in inclement weather and things like that. So then spinning around to the point of view now, we'll get up to some speed, half throttle it. So it'll ring out the transmission just a little bit under acceleration, obviously, to get it to some speed. But as you can see, you got a pretty cool view out. I do love that hood. I know I already said that, but it just looks really cool from this angle. When you hit the brakes, they also do a pretty adequate job. This car is well balanced for what it is. Like I said, not a sports car or anything, but at least you have just a nice overall car. Transmission is actually pretty quick. When you hit the paddle, it's not too long after that the actual gear change happens. So it's pretty cool how you get some of those sporty touches in it, just to at least have just the slightest bit of fun with the car. And then the use of materials, while this is probably getting replaced in the next year or so, it's not too bad. I do like the rubberish leather material you get all on the dash, and the seats are really comfortable, very padded. They have a lot of support, and these bolsters are huge to where you really are stuck in the car. It feels really nice to be behind the wheel. And then the steering wheel also is a nice, good feeling to it. So I think they did a good job with this trim level. It's about $3 or $4 grand more than the basic trim level, but you get some good luxuries just to make it feel a little bit nicer. And like I said, a view around, the rear seats were definitely comfortable to be in. But overall, I think that is about it then for the 2022 Dodge Charger GT. It's kind of cool that you're so used to seeing all the V8s and the Hellcats, but to tone it back down a little bit to get more of a normal type of car from Dodge, I think it's pretty cool that you can just get a nice, comfortable, big sedan that kind of just does what you need it to do for the normal driving. So I think that's it then. If you guys enjoyed today's video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for plenty more content. And then a big shout out and thank you to Feeney, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram for providing this new Charger for today's video. Check out their website linked down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.